Imagine this. Everyone around you thought you were finished, done, broken. A story they'd whisper about in the past tense. They expected you to stay down, to fade quietly into the background, to apologize for ever trying. But oh no, you weren't finished. You were cooking up a storm in silence, sharpening your mind and soul like a blade in the dark. And when you came back, it wasn't a whisper. It was a roar, a ruthless, savage comeback so fierce, it should have come with a trigger warning. This isn't just a story about return. It's about transformation, about rising from the ashes with eyes blazing, heart untamed, and power that shakes the ground beneath everyone who doubted you. It's about owning your scars, your battles, your silence, and flipping the script so hard that the world doesn't recognize the warrior who just walked through the door. Wow. Isn't it wild how quickly people forget? 1 minute you're the topic of every room, their curiosity, their gossip, their game. And the next, poof, you're gone, vanished like smoke in the air. And what do? They laugh. They assume. They move on, as if you were just a side character in a story you built with your own pain. Huh, how convenient. But oh, the silence they mocked was never weakness. That silence was your secret weapon. That pause, that disappearance, that was your training arc. And baby, the return. The return was a show they didn't buy tickets for. You didn't send a warning shot. You didn't whisper, "I'm coming." No, you arrived like a force of nature, like thunder with no lightning. No introduction, no apology, just presence. Your energy, different. Your posture, taller. Your eyes, fierce. And suddenly the same mouths that once chuckled behind your back, quiet, silent, confused. And oh, wasn't that just delicious? That look on their face when they saw you didn't fold. You didn't shatter. You built. Quietly, relentlessly, like a fire trapped in steel, waiting for the day it could melt through everything that tried to contain it. You didn't need to scream. You didn't need to post quotes online. You let your aura talk for you. And wow, did it speak. It told them, I remember everything. Every fake smile, every snide comment, every "you'll never make it." You took it all and you cooked up a masterpiece in the dark. And when you served it cold, the whole room froze. Ha! They didn't even have the vocabulary to describe what they were feeling. Fear? Regret? Guilt? It didn't matter. What mattered was you were back. And not just back, upgraded, built, armored, and glowing in a way only pain could sculpt. You reminded them without a single word, because the loudest message isn't shouted, it's lived. And what you've lived, no one can take that from you. You carry that journey in your walk now, in the way you stand still and own space, in the way you don't blink when people try to test you. They forgot who you were, but that's okay. You gave them time to forget, so your return could feel like a glitch in their reality. Like, wait, what? How did they? Oh, the confusion, the panic behind the smiles, the tension in the room when you enter now. It's not hatred, it's recognition. The realization that they never knew you at all. You didn't just bounce back, you rebuilt your soul. You didn't remind them through words, you reminded them through weight. And now they look at you like a ghost returned. But this ghost doesn't haunt, it dominates, quietly, sharply, unapologetically. Welcome back. You've always been the storm. You just finally stopped hiding your thunder. Wow. It's crazy how people break you and then act shocked when the new version of you doesn't flinch, not even a twitch. They throw around "you've changed" like it's some kind of insult, as if growing into your power is a crime. But here's the truth. They don't get it. You didn't change for them. Nah, you evolved because of them. Every silence they gave you, every doubt they planted, every judgment they whispered, it didn't kill you, it shaped you. Oh, the sweet irony. The very hands that tried to bury you ended up planting the seeds of your rebirth. When you're constantly overlooked, misunderstood, left behind like yesterday's news, something inside you snaps, but not in anger, no. It snaps into awakening. Suddenly, your eyes peel open wide and you start seeing things crystal clear. You spot the masks people wear, the hollow words they toss around, and the fake smiles hiding sharp knives behind backs. Once you see that truth, there's no going back. You outgrow the old you, the one who begged for approval, who swallowed lies just to fit in. You shed that skin and rise raw, real, untouchable. This evolution, it didn't come easy or fast. You didn't wake up fearless one morning like it was magic. No, you sat alone in the darkest corners of your mind, wrestling with the voices that screamed you weren't enough. Bit by bit, tear by tear, you peeled away the layers, fear, guilt, the toxic need to please. You removed every chain that kept you bound, until what was left wasn't scared but ready to conquer, ready to claim what was always yours. And guess what? You stopped chasing applause because you learned applause is cheap and fleeting. You stopped begging for validation because it vanishes like smoke. What you started chasing was something deeper: alignment, peace, power, progress. And once you tasted that freedom, damn, you became unstoppable. Not because you gained more, but because you needed less. Less noise, less drama, less people's expectations. Just your own truth blazing like fire. They tried to make you fit their mold, but now you own the fact that you never belonged there. You remember how they laughed at your dreams, how they talked behind your back. Now they're silent when you walk in. Not because you begged to be heard, but because your presence speaks louder than words. You didn't evolve to impress anyone. You evolved to free yourself from the chains, from the lies, from the ghosts of who you used to be. And that kind of growth, it can't be reversed. It can't be tamed. It can't be explained to those still stuck in the old version of you they knew. Maybe some of them miss that old you, the one who said yes too often, who made excuses for their neglect, who carried their burdens like a fool. But that version died, burned in the fire they lit to break you. And from those ashes rose a new you, sharper, stronger, more dangerous. Not because you hate them. No, because you finally love yourself enough to stop shrinking, to stop playing small. You didn't evolve to be liked. No, you evolved to be authentic. And authenticity always makes the leeches uncomfortable, the ones who fed on your silence. Let them be confused. Let them feel the distance. Your job isn't to comfort their discomfort. Your job is to guard your freedom, even if it costs losing those who were never meant to stay. Because those losses, they were your triggers and your teachers. And now you're untouchable, not because you're better, but because you're real. And real can never be broken again. Oh, how they looked at you, like you were a glass statue, delicate and breakable. Like they could push you around like a pawn, ignore your worth, overlook your existence. They pointed at your cracks and laughed, calling them weakness. But oh, they didn't know? Those cracks? Those were your pressure points, the places where the storm inside was building, ready to explode. You weren't fragile, you were volatile, a quiet fury, a fire contained. And the moment they pushed you too far, you didn't shatter. No. You ignited. Like a wildfire blazing uncontrollably, unstoppable, fierce. Pain has two faces. It can either crush you into dust or carve you into a warrior. And you chose the harder path, the lonely, brutal, relentless path. The one where nights are long and silent, and the only company you have is the echo of your own heartbeat. Every unanswered call, every forgotten promise, every memory you tried to lock away didn't weigh you down. It fueled you. Not the kind of fire that burns you from inside, no. This was the fire that drives you, that tells you you will never feel helpless ever again. It's a savage kind of power, the kind that burns cold and sharp. They never saw the battlefield behind your eyes. They never saw the war raging inside, the fight between giving up and holding on. But you saw it all. You felt it. And that's why you made it out alive. When the world went silent and every hand reached away, when you were left alone staring into the abyss, you didn't cry for help. You didn't beg. You rescued yourself. Slowly, quietly, furiously. Because that's what true warriors do. They don't wait for a hero. They become the hero. You took your pain and transformed it into purpose, into a fire that no gym, no coach, no medal could ever teach. This wasn't a physical fight. This was a battle of the soul. You walked barefoot through hell, bearing scars not to hide, but to show the world proof. Proof you survived. Proof you thrived. Proof that nothing thrown at you now even scratches the surface. Your pain? It became your greatest teacher. It showed you who's real and who's fake. It revealed your steel. It taught you to rebuild yourself without instructions, without help, without any promises. And when you stood back up, silent and unshaken, your silence screamed what your voice never could. I am not the broken soul you left behind. Now, you walk with a calm so fierce it unsettles. People can feel it. The weight behind your gaze, the edge in your tone, the stillness that only those who survive the fire carry. You don't panic when the world crumbles. You've lived in the wreckage, and you built from it. The cracks you once hid became the foundation of your fortress. They underestimated you. They couldn't imagine a soul so bruised could stand so tall. But that's the difference now. You didn't just survive the storm, you became the storm. You shaped every drop of pain into armor so strong no one can manipulate you, lie to you, or walk all over you again. And here's the real twist, the poetic truth. You don't hate them. No, you thank them. Because without their pain, their silence, their betrayal, you'd never have met this new version of yourself. The version who doesn't just live, but dominates. Not out of anger or revenge, but with absolute clarity and unstoppable power. Oh, the power in silence. The boldness it takes to just walk away without telling a soul why. No speeches, no dramatic goodbyes, no "I'm done" announcements. Just disappearing. That's the most powerful move you ever made. Because somewhere deep inside, you realized a sacred truth. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your healing. Every scar you carry, every dark step you took in the shadows, those belong to you and you alone. You don't have to hand out your story like candy, just to prove you're still standing. Of course they noticed. People always notice when the supply of your drama or your energy dries up. But here's the thing. They didn't come looking to understand your silence. No. They came sniffing around to measure your distance, to see if you're still weak enough to need their noise, their opinions, their fake sympathy. And when they saw you weren't, the confusion on their faces was priceless, because they were so used to the old you, the one who over-explained, who sought peace even when it cost your own boundaries, who apologized for just existing. That version. You buried it quietly. No eulogy, no funeral, just a solemn promise, never again. And then you came back, not to justify, not to explain, not to defend. You returned with something better, results, a fire in your eyes, confidence in your stride, a voice that doesn't crack when you say no. You don't owe them your story because your progress, it's personal. It was forged in private battles and silent breakdowns in an internal war no one else could fight for you. Some will always demand closure, explanations, access to the version of you they feel entitled to. But listen close. They aren't really asking for answers. They want control. They want to insert themselves into your narrative, pretend they helped build this new you. But no, they watched you bleed, and now they want credit for the bandages. They don't get that anymore. You don't have to prove yourself. Not to them, not to anyone. The fact that you're still here, standing, breathing, moving forward, that's proof enough. You don't owe anyone the story of how many nights you fought demons they didn't even know existed. You don't owe anyone a presentation of your decisions. You've earned the right to protect your peace with silence, with distance, with a presence so solid it screams, "I've changed," without a single word. There's a freedom in walking into any room knowing you don't have to justify how far you've come. You breathe without asking for permission. You exist without bending your truth to comfort others. That is real power. Not loud, not dramatic, but unshakable. Let them wonder. Let them assume. Let them talk. Because while they're busy analyzing your silence, you're out there living a life so full, so focused, so fiercely your own, they can't even catch up. And the best part? You don't need them. You didn't come back for revenge. You came back for yourself. And that is why your return hit harder than any words ever could. When a person no longer needs to explain, they've already won. They expected you to crawl back, didn't they? To apologize for finally choosing yourself. To return with your head bowed low. The same broken, unsure, soft version they thought they buried deep in the shadows. But guess what? What walked back through that door wasn't the ghost they left behind. It was you. The real, sharper, clear-eyed, focused, untouchable. Oh, the shock in their eyes when they realized the game changed and they weren't holding the cards anymore. They never prepared for this. No script for this level of power. This version of you, it doesn't flinch. It doesn't second-guess that gut feeling anymore. You don't fake laughs to comfort others. You don't hide your brilliance just to make them feel safe. No more dimming your light so others can stay comfortable in the dark. You learned something fierce in your absence. They only loved the version of you they could control. The one who begged permission, feared judgment, carried guilt that was never yours. And when that version died, they mourned. But not because they cared, no. Because they lost their grip. The chokehold slipped, and now the person they thought was small has become unstoppable. You became the person who doesn't explain, who doesn't chase, who refuses to fold under pressure or soften the truth just to keep peace. Not because you're cold, but because you finally know your worth. You understand the heavy cost of shrinking yourself to fit into spaces built by others who never had your best interest at heart. Now you walk like you've peeked behind the curtain, read the whole script, and rewritten your lines. You speak less, but every word hits like thunder. You smile less, but your energy fills the room, thick and electric. You don't shout, you move. And with every step, the world shifts. People shift. They feel it deep down. You're not here to play the small role anymore. They aren't ready for the lead you've become. They don't know how to handle this version of you. the one who sets boundaries without guilt, the one who walks away without a backward glance, the one who refuses to shrink just to be digestible, to be easy on the eyes or safe in conversation. That version, the tall, silent, unbreakable one, is the one that shakes them to their core. They never saw it coming, and now they can't ignore it. You became your own protector, your own guide, your own damn backup plan. And that makes you dangerous. Not because you wield violence, but because you carry power grounded in your roots. Unshakable. They can't manipulate you anymore. Their silence can't cage you. Their attempts to use your kindness as a weapon? Dead. Finished. Over. And here's the sweetest truth. You aren't doing this for revenge. You aren't trying to prove anything to them. You're doing it because you finally respect your own time, your energy, your worth. The people who failed to see that, they were never meant to be in your next chapter. This new you, standing tall, silent, unstoppable, was forged in fire, refined in silence, sharpened by solitude. And now that you've arrived, they have only two choices: respect you or watch from a distance. Either way, you've already won, because you're not the version they remember. You're the version they feared you'd become. Isn't it funny? The same faces that once squinted at you in doubt now stare with wide eyes like they just saw a ghost rise. Nah, scratch that, like they just witnessed a storm that learned to walk in silence. That ain't confusion on their faces anymore. That's respect. Real, raw, earned in fire kind of respect. The kind you don't ask for. The kind you bleed for. The kind that only shows up after you've walked through hell barefoot and came back grinning. You were never meant to be easy to understand. You were meant to be remembered. They used to whisper behind your back like they had a secret. Now they go quiet when you walk in. That silence? It's not awkward, it's heavy. It's loaded. It's them realizing we misjudged. It's them tasting the truth that you buried deep for too long. Oh, now they want to act like they always believed in you? No. Don't let the applause fool you. Most of them are clapping because they're scared of what you'll do next. You see, real transformation doesn't need a narrator. It doesn't need flashy announcements. It just needs proof. And you gave them that proof in every breath you took after they tried to suffocate your spirit. You shattered their expectations so cleanly, so flawlessly, they don't even know what to say anymore. And there it is, the truth no one dared to say loud enough. Your comeback wasn't just a return. It was a declaration. A blazing message to the world that you're done playing small, done waiting for permission, done being anyone's afterthought. You've rewritten your story, forged your power in silence, and now you move with a force that can't be stopped. Remember, the greatest victories aren't always loud. They're the quiet wars won inside, the battles fought when no one's watching. So keep rising, keep grinding, keep owning your journey like the unstoppable force you are. If this hit you deep, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Twist Mind for more raw motivation that lights your fire. This is just the beginning. Your ruthless comeback has only just begun. Stay fierce, stay real, and never stop twisting your mind.